Oh no! I do have it. What was the song?
Hold On by Thames, which feels appropriate.
How did that go?
Just hold on. I can't come up with it.
That's not. Hold on for one more day.
No.
You gotta turn your phone off, Jessica. That's your second time it's gone off. Okay.
I was trying to get the beat back in my head.
Okay.
Hold on.
If you gotta get the beat back in your head, it sounds like something that you can do without.
No, it's a great song. I love that entire album. No, that's my chill album. Born in the Wild is my.
I understand that,
Need
but
to be centered.
If you're trying to find the beat, might be time to let it go.
Listen, we're all just trying to find the beat.
I got the beat. I'm fine. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
The beat.
I do. You guys are in here. Oh, what? Are you blue now?
I have no words left.
We have a clue? Is there a clue, Blue?
How does the mail song go again?
We just got a letter.
We just got a letter. We just got a letter.
No, don't that. Don't you know that. You know that.
Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. Mail.
Where's that from?
Blue's Clues.
Oh, yeah. That's how it starts.
Yeah.
And then
it's we just got a letter.
We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Oh, come on, Jessica. I wonder who it's from.
I wonder who it's from.
Goodness gracious.
I remember when email started being really big and a hot conversation was, will they change it to an email? And then I think they did.
Yeah, they did.
We just got an email.
I don't know if it's that
Doesn't
song.
hit the same.
I don't know if it's that, but they've gotten into.
I just got a DM. I just got a DM.
Oh.
I just got a DM. Ah!
Send me pics of your feet.
Time to close my phone. What's up, everybody? It is Thursday, March 6th. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, the Grizzlies lose their fourth straight, falling to the Thunder last night here at FedEx Forum. We will do some Thursday morning therapy. Teresa Walker will join us about 20 minutes in. We'll catch up with her on the Grizzlies. Big SEC hoops upset last night as Ole Miss beat Tennessee. We'll get her thoughts on the combine, what the Titans are planning to do with the #1 pick. It's a Thursday. That means it's draft day. And in honor of Around the Horn ending on ESPN, we are drafting our favorite sports television shows of all time. Not scripted shows, not narrative shows, but just sports shows, baby. And then we'll end with a little Theater Thursday, some movie news from the week to carry us home. It's a Thursday. You know what we say. The sun will come out right now. It's sunny and sad. That's the...
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
45-minute video on Tony Allen on YouTube.
I just saw it yesterday.
He managed to dominate the NBA for 14 years, despite missing one of basketball's most important skills. But here's the crazy thing.
Why does that hurt your feelings?
It didn't hurt my feelings.
It's
no.
positive.
He police. He at least should have more of my highlights.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Are you aware of the story of Larry Brown and John Calipari coming to see you at an AAU tournament?
I knew Coach Calipari was in the crowd. I had this incredible game. I had maybe 17 dunks in the first half or something. One of my guys was like, "Yeah, I think Coach Calipari was speaking with one of the NBA scouts, and they're saying, yeah, you're not gonna go to college, bro. You're going straight to the league." I was like, "That's the plan, but if I don't, I definitely want to go to Memphis," and that's how I went down.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. We are one day closer to Friday, and the homestand from HE Double Hockey Sticks is over for the Memphis Grizzlies. CJ, we saw one of the many facts of life last night. They are the facts of life, plural. But one of them is that sometimes you get beat by a team that is better than you. Period. That's what happened last night. It wasn't a crazy buzzer beater. It wasn't a opponent game winner in the final seconds, as had been the case for the last 3 games going into last night's matchup against the Thunder. It wasn't anything nefarious, despite some bad calls, but there are bad calls in every game that you have to play through. It wasn't some unfair edge due to injuries, because the Grizzlies were without Jaren Jackson Jr. and Santi Aldama, but the Thunder were without Chet Holmgren and Alex Caruso. It wasn't some outlier of a night like you saw the Celtics get Peyton Pritchard and Derek White combining for 19 threes last night and 84 points. It's just simple. The Thunder right now are the better basketball team. They are one of the best basketball teams in the NBA. You can call them the best. You can say they are top 2 if you want to put them in the mix with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were the first team to clinch a spot in the playoffs last night. You could say they're top 3 if you want to throw the Celtics in that elite tier that has separated itself off. But it was a simple fact. The Thunder are a very, very good team. The Grizzlies are struggling right now. They are not as good of a team as the Thunder. And you lose. It just feels extra worse because of the happenings that happened in the 3 games before, compiled into a 4-game losing stretch. Of course, the first 4-game losing stretch of the season for the Grizzlies. What was your primary feeling last night watching that game?
Like that's it. Just
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I went into the game kind of expecting it to be something like that, and that's exactly what it was. The Thunder, you brought up the Celtics, the Cavs, those teams have players. I'll throw the Lakers in there. I think I might throw the Nuggets in there, maybe.
They came back to beat the Kings.
Those teams, I'm not throwing the Nuggets in there. Those teams have players outside, plural, outside of their stars, who can go out there and get something for you, get the job done in impressive ways, right? So you brought up Pritchard and Derek White going off. We've seen these Thunder role players, be it one of the Jay Williams or somebody Wiggins, somebody not named Shea, not named Chet, come up big for them. We've seen Austin Reeves this year, Rui Hachimura this year for the Lakers consistently show up and show out when their number's been called.
Ty Jerome for the Cavs, DeAndre Hunter edition at the All-Star break.
We've seen non-star players for those teams go out there and win them games in the regular season. We just hadn't consistently seen that from this Grizzlies team this year. And the one non-star player is Santi, and we've seen really good things from Santi, but Santi's not playing, so he's out injured also. And so if Santi's out, as well as Jaren and Ja, I'm sure we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but Ja's out there hindered by the shoulder thing, somebody else has to step up. And we saw it when Bane had the 35 triple-double. We saw it when Jaren dropped 42. Doesn't look like they've got somebody capable of doing that right now. And that's unfortunate. I think we thought because of the injury situation, they were out for a large portion of the year up to this point. Gigi and Vince, we thought that those guys could sort of step in here and win you some games that you need to win and win you some games that you're supposed to win. And we just hadn't seen that. And we saw
it one time from Gigi.
Which time?
That Magic game.
Okay.
Where he comes in and makes 3 straight threes and brings them back. But you haven't seen it since.
Consistency.
Right.
Like I would think that Luke Kennard would be a bit more than what he is right now. And he's not. Brandon Clark has had a fine season, but Brandon Clark's game is so relying on others making plays for him that if they can't make plays from themselves, they're certainly not going to be able to make plays for him when time comes on the offensive end and he's doing all of the intangible stuff. Somebody's got to do some tangible stuff. And Brandon Clark's just not that type of player. So coming in here without your best role player and without Jaren going up against that Thunder team, you got beat by a better team that last night. And this isn't the same feeling as Hawks, Spurs.
No, but I won't go as far as saying, I was talking to just various people after the game last night, and some used numb. I wasn't numb. It was still disappointing. I had truly talked myself into, because that's what you have to do. Hope is a hell of a drug. That's what we do with sports every single night, every single season. Only one team walks away as a champion, but you put the hope in the air that it can be your team. And you have a game every single game night where only one team can win it. And even if you lost Jaren Jackson Jr., find out no Santi Aldama, what Ja's playing through, things not clicking, 3 straight losses in the fashion that they came on the home court, you still convince yourself, well, maybe, God, crazier things have happened. Crazy things happen in this league every single night. And then it wasn't crazy. The Grizzlies kept it close early on, and they made that inspired push between the end of the third quarter and the start of the fourth quarter, primarily due to the play and energy of Scottie Pippen Jr., who had a nice run. The Grizzlies cut it to within 6 after a Scottie 3. The Thunder call a timeout. I believe coming out of that timeout is where Gigi Jackson shoots it from behind the backboard. Aaron Wiggins hits a wide open 3 on the next play. And the barrage starts again. And you blink, and it's a 10-point game, and you blink, and it's a 14-point game, and you blink, and oh my God, the Thunder are up 20. And that's what happens. And that happens to almost every team that plays the Thunder. They have 51 wins this season after their win over the Grizzlies. And what they do so well, what great teams are able to do, is you take away one thing and they beat you with something else. The last go around, back in early February when the Thunder were here, they had 32 second chance points. So what did the Grizzlies do last night? They out-rebounded them by 10. They held them to a grand total of 3 second chance points, 3 offensive rebounds. And it doesn't matter. You roll with a starting lineup, you go small with Jalen Wells and Vince Williams Jr., and you try to swarm Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you try to get the ball out of SGA's hands. Well, if it's out of his hands, then it's in Jalen Williams' hands. And then if you're able to cover Jalen Williams, well, then it's the other Jalen Williams off the bench who comes up with a big play. Or it's Aaron Wiggins, or it's Isaiah Joe, or Lou Dort had 1 3 last night, but it's a timely 3. Or it's another opportunity for Isaiah Hartenstein to have his classic little floater with his face mask going off last night. Everything works for the Thunder because they are a very good team. And the Grizzlies right now, they got sucked into a lot of one-on-one offense, not a lot of ball movement, not a lot of people movement. And when that happens, things just get so stagnant. And ultimately, they fall short. They lose 120-103. Ja Morant leads the Grizzlies with 24 points. He was 8 of 22 from the field. He was 2 of 9 from the three-point line. And I have come in here every single morning, and I won't stop today, where you always urge people, and this is sports, so we don't do a great job of it, to remember everybody's going through something. Clearly, Ja is not 100%. I've also said that for the Grizzlies to be the best version of themselves, Ja Morant has to be the best player on the court. He is what leads them to a long run in the postseason. And right now that is not happening. And he said after the game to both DeMichael Cole and Drew Hill and everybody who was in that locker room that maybe he shouldn't have played in last night's game. And DeMichael Cole followed up and asked if this shoulder injury is something that he's going to have to deal with for the rest of the season. And Ja said, I don't know. Here's what I do know. I watched Ja warm up. We do the warm-up show for Grind City Media. We're down on the court. Ja's warm-ups correlate with my hit on that show and then me ultimately going back up to Radio Row to do the radio pregame show. And I stood and I watched Ja, and I watched him make 6 threes in a row. Every single time he shot the 3, he came back and he rubbed his arm. And I said, that doesn't look, he does not look comfortable. Watching him go into the player introductions before the game, there was a moment where I turned to Bennett Doyle next to me and I said, he doesn't look right. I know he's missed 2 straight games. Of course, he doesn't look 100% right, but he doesn't look right. And then you get out there and there's some contact early on that certainly could have been called. One of the most egregious no calls that we've seen. He gets frustrated. Taylor gets so frustrated that he gets teed up during that situation. And then it's a lot of hands in the air. And we've talked about the Grizzlies' identity this season, and unfortunately, it continues to be hands in the air. And that stinks. It has to be so frustrating. You feel the contact. You see what's getting called on the other side. But ultimately, if you're on the court, you have to play through it. You have to play through contact. You have to play through bad whistles. And Ja continues to get so frustrated by the lack of calls that it leads to lapses on defense, not getting back. It affects the entirety of the game. And if you're hurt, you're hurt. But you get to a point where if you're hurt and don't play. I'm not sure saying that maybe you shouldn't have played was the right place, right time in the locker room following a loss to the number 1 team in the Western Conference, and a disappointing one at that. But we'll see what it means for him the rest of the way, because he's clearly not 100%. I don't know what percent to put next to it.
We talked, was it yesterday about, or a couple of days ago, I can't remember, about Kyrie going to the free throw line on the torn ACL and shooting the free throws, and how Kobe did it, and I said some things like that's what basketball players do. Like that is what basketball players do, right? Go, your knees messed up, shoulders out of place, fingers dislocated, you pop your Achilles, what have you. I've seen players, I've seen multiple players across levels of sport go to the free throw line, take their 2 free throws, and then boom, I'm going to the training staff after that, right? The special players are the ones who have the aches, the bruises, the pain, the stiffness, soreness, injuries, and play through that. Like, that is impressive to me. When you are banged up, I think that championship, one of Kobe's championships, maybe the 5th one, his hand was broke, right? Like, there were fingers broke. Like, that is impressive to me.
There's always the lore with those kind of players.
Allen Iverson, when he drugged the 76ers into that series against the Lakers and got that first game in LA, all of his body, you point to a body part and it's strained, dislocated, broken, fractured, like there's something wrong there. And he found a way to play through that. Eric Snow was on that team. He played through some things as well. Like, I do believe a high ankle sprain, right? Jameer Nelson came back in the Magic's final run with Dwight Howard, and he rushed himself back. Those are playoffs finals, but I think I'm making my point here. The great players play effectively through those types of things. Now, it's regular season, it's not the finals, not trying to weigh them the same, but if you're telling me that you're great, you're approaching greatness, you want to be great, these are the types of things you've got to be able to play through. Yeah, if your legs are good, your mind is good, find another way to impact the game. It can't be, I'm driving constantly, I'm driving in, I'm getting bumped, I think it should be a foul. We probably all think it should be a foul.
All the fans' most inspired 2 moments that Scotty run the energy got back into it, and then the refs chanting, or the fans chanting, refs, you suck. Nothing brings a crowd together like refs, you suck. So everybody sees it.
But you can't stop.
Exactly.
You can't stop. Your hands go up as the Thunder, we got the ball, bye. And instead of you sprinting back on defense, now the Thunder on a 3-on-2 break or a 3-on-1 break because you're frustrated about not getting a call. That type of stuff can't be happening. Yes. That's not what great players do. Great players find a way to play through things, overcome things, and find a way to impact the game when the way that they typically impact it, they're not able to do anymore for a myriad of reasons, be it injury and health, be it the way the game is being officiated, be it the style of play of an offense, whatever it may be, you still find a way to impact the game. And it's frustrating watching people who you know are great. I know John Moran is great, but you got to learn these things. Yeah. These things aren't just innate in everybody. And they're innate in nobody. You have to go through something like this to come out better on the other side. And I hope that he does come out better on the other side sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it sets a tone. That's the leader of this team. And then it carries over into everyone else. Of course, we all saw Jalen Wells get bonked in the head, and then SGA pulls him down. And I think it's exacerbated last night because the Thunder are one of the best teams at drawing calls, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is one of the best players at getting to the free throw line. And so you see what he gets away with and what the Grizzlies get called on, and then you look on the other side and say, hey, why not us? But let me give you, as a woman in Women's History Month, I can't tell you how many times in this little life, I'm going to share her story. Can't tell you how many times in this life you get told as a woman, can't play the victim. And you want to know how much it absolutely blows to hear you can't play the victim when you are the victim? And when you are being victimized? It's the worst. It feels horrible. But it doesn't change anything. And that's where we're at with the Grizzlies. This isn't 20 games into the season. We are 60 plus games into the season. And this is how it's been. We have seen no indication that this is how officiating of this team is going to change, and so you have to work around it. And that's everything with this team right now. Smarter basketball plays have to be made. You can't be fouling SGA 27 feet from the basket. You can't be stepping out of bounds constantly in a variety. This team steps out of bounds in ways I did not know was possible at times. Every single basketball game. The Brandon Clark illegal screen, which was a horrible, soft call, but you can't challenge it because you don't have your challenge left. But also, in that situation, why are you going that early in the shot clock? All these things play into why the Grizzlies are in a position right now where they are not as good of a team as the Thunder, and why there is a small reason to pause if you've seen them tumble to the 4 spot in the Western Conference standings. But here is the good news. They are still in the 4 spot in the Western Conference standings. You do have what appears to be a favorable schedule coming up. Nothing is solidified as favorable after we looked at the last go-around. I will never walk into this building again and say, well, the only way this game gets interesting is if the Grizzlies lose, and watch them lose to the Spurs and watch them lose to the Hawks. They play the Dallas Mavericks on Friday. And my God, if there is a team to get right against at this exact moment, it is the Dallas Mavericks, who lost by 20 to the Milwaukee Bucks last night, had a grand total of 8 players available, and assumingly will continue to have 8 players available for the time being. And Dallas is down bad. So you go in that building. That's another nationally televised game. ESPN. Friday night, lucky ESPN.
ESPN's got to be so frustrated.
We finally get the Grizzlies on national television. Consistently. They get all these games flexed at the last second. And this is where we're at. But you go from Dallas to New Orleans on Sunday, another team that's struggling. And then you get the Suns, who the Suns have something to play for. Because of the struggling Mavs, the Suns suddenly aren't dead yet. That light has not burned out yet. But you get the Suns back here, a team that you beat in overtime. You get the Utah Jazz, then you get the Cavs, then you get the Heat, but it's Tony Allen jersey retirement night, so lots of opportunities ahead. Doesn't feel great right now. 4 losses in a row, never will. But this is where you figure out, we said it coming off of 3 losses in a row, how do you get back off the mat and back to winning basketball? We'll continue the conversation with Teresa Walker. We'll also get her takes on the big upset in the SEC last night. The Vols fall down to Ole Miss. We're going into SEC tournament time. It's in Nashville. We'll catch up with Teresa on that. NFL Combine news and notes. What are the Titans going to do with the #1 pick? All of that and more when we come back.
We touched on this earlier, the panel here, about what really has been the mainstay of the Grizzlies, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. Trip has just been awesome.
He's posting guys up. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's physical, and he's scoring all type of ways.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping. It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
Back to Jared for the flash.
We're going to need, the Forum rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane 3. Yes, sir. Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
We did get a new shoe that dropped today that we should all be able to get if we want it.
Fire.
And it's been one people have been waiting for a long time.
Yep.
Asia Wilson. What do you guys think about the shoe?
I love it.
It looks great. We see people wearing Jaws. We see a lot of people wearing the GT line. But then also we see a lot of NBA players wearing the Sabrinas.
Sabrina, yeah.
I bet you there's going to be a lot of NBA players wearing that.
I agree with you on that.
Oh,
yeah.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app. Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
This team is doing everything that Taylor Jenkins and his coaching staff envisioned it could do.
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Sorry. Welcome back.
You okay, Jacob?
If you could hear the sigh that just went into my ear. And I think it's like a collective sigh for the city. So we can all take a big together because it's only Thursday. It's only Thursday. There is a Friday tomorrow. That is how the week works. But on Thursdays, It's one of our favorite days because we get to catch up with Teresa Walker of the Associated Press. She joins us each and every Thursday. She is back from vacation. She is rested, but then immediately tired again because that's how this works, right, Teresa?
Exactly, because I'm last night I'm trying to catch up on one of a favorite show on my iPad. I'm monitoring.
What show?
Outlander.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to wait until, I'm sorry, I hate when they drabble these things out a week and a week. So it's like, as much as I wait for a show, Droughtlander, famously for the show, I waited and I downloaded everything and started binge watching it on my return back from Key West on Sunday. So I'm watching that, and I've got basketball on the TV. So I'm watching what's happening down in Alabama. And Florida takes down Alabama. Then I watch Tennessee go to Ole Miss, and a reminder that on Saturday, sometimes it's good when coaches don't have a chance to take a timeout. Just let guys play, because as much as Rick Barnes set up it was a good play, and if they execute it, they're going into overtime. The problem is the defense gets the setup as well. Sometimes just let them play. And the SEC, so I'm preparing for the SEC tournament next week. And while Tennessee and Alabama, Auburn, Florida are all set for byes and should be playing on Friday, we still have more games to be played. So hold on to your hat. I mean, I know, good. Tennessee wraps up with South Carolina on Saturday, and you would think that that's a gimme, but I mean, and it's in Knoxville, so it should be, but it's going to be crazy. And so, yes, we dive. And, a little thing called NFL free agency starts next week. Talking period opens on Monday. SEC tournament on Wednesday. Free agency, 3 o'clock on Wednesday. And, the Titans are hosting, reportedly, Abdul Carter of Penn State today. It looks like they've got it slotted after the combine to meet with the top 4 picks that we think will come off the board. Why? They hold the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. And that will be upon us before we know it. And then, after the SEC tournament, as if I'm not tired enough already, back from vacation, I need another vacation. I'm going to Lexington for the first and second round of the men's NCAA tournament. And now bracketology has got, I think it's Auburn and Tennessee as 1 seeds in Lexington. So at least, thank you. Give me one team that I know well.
Do you think that loss to Ole Miss will affect Tennessee's solidification as a 1 seed?
We'll find out, right? I mean, every year it feels like, the committee, it's like, conference tournaments matter. Then we get to Selection Sunday, and it's like, no, it doesn't. So, you look at what Tennessee has done over the body of their season and how tough the SEC is. And when I was looking at bracketology yesterday, they were a 1 seed. The SEC has the most teams in the tournament. So if it is truly the top conference in the country this year, why shouldn't they be getting 2 teams in? The problem is Florida going to Bama has got a great argument. It should be us. But I remember Florida going to Knoxville and getting spanked.
Do you remember Tennessee going to Gainesville?
And getting spanked.
All right. Okay, good.
Winning on the road in the SEC has not been easy. And for all the stats about how they are in conference play, it's because winning on the road is tough. I mean, it's what Vanderbilt, for God's sakes, with 11 players through the transfer portal, went a week ago. Was it a week ago, 2 weeks ago? I'm losing track. Yeah, it was a week ago. To Texas A&M, and one of their now 4 or 5 ranked wins is on the road at Texas A&M, which was 12. They follow that up by spanking, in overtime. But they beat Missouri on Saturday. And by the way, the new don't rush the court till the minute is off the clock policy worked. They did not get fined by the SEC for yet another field court storming. So, it can be done in a safe and practice fashion.
I do want to get to Titans with you, obviously, but before we move off of basketball, the Memphis Grizzlies have lost 4 straight. You sit on the other side of the state, Teresa, but you do cover the Grizzlies, follow the Grizzlies. What have you seen from this team in the last 4, and what either inspires you that this is a rough patch and that there is still a rainbow to be found as we head into the postseason, or are there some genuine concerns that perhaps you didn't have a couple weeks ago?
Well, let's face it. There's been genuine concerns because we've seen this team get a 2 seed twice and not get past the second round. Now, you could chalk that up to youth needing to learn, figuring out how tough the NBA postseason is. And yes, I still think that this team just needs to get healthy. We see Jaren Jackson Jr. Now he's week to week with a grade 2 ankle sprain. And, Ja comes back and he sat out that game. You're thinking this is a game we should win. Let him rest that shoulder. And then, oops, in an amazing performance by Desmond Bain. So it does feel like they're still figuring out how to work with each other, how these pieces all fit together on the court. And yeah, it's tough not to agree with Taylor Jenkins. At what point do your stars, the guys that are the reason you're getting flexed into these national games, when do they start getting the benefit of some whistles when they're literally driving into the paint and doing everything that you're supposed to do to draw whistles? So, there's a reason Ja has been hurt. It's because he drives to the paint and throws his body in there and doesn't get rewarded with the whistles the way he should be. And yes, I was watching that game as well, flipping back and forth. I keep an eye on all the teams in my state. And yeah, I'm awaiting. I feel like I'm tapping my fingers. When are they going to start getting some of these whistles? And because, yeah, in case you haven't noticed, they are one of the better teams in the West, have been. This is not an aberrant situation this year. They have a track record. Last year was injuries. We know this. The NBA should know this. The referees should know this. So, pick up the clue phone. But the Grizzlies, hopefully Jaren is back sooner rather than later. And it does feel like they just need to work on the rotations, the chemistry, the timing, and yes, develop that killer instinct. Don't let a game slip away on a last-second shot. Stop that.
Late game situations. It's one of those things where when we start talking, there's only 20 games left, though. So you watch certain situations and think, well, surely this should be figured out by now. But like you said, rotation-wise, to lose Jaren, to not have Santi available last night against the Thunder, the really only big moment I had was when the Grizzlies did cut it to 6. I wanted Ja Morant back in the game, but then you hear Ja after the game say, maybe I shouldn't even been playing last night. And so all of that factors in. He plays 32 minutes last night. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander played 35. We play this one star's minutes versus another star's minutes over and over. I do think it's a more interesting game to play in measuring it up against a Thunder team that has the depth that matches the Grizzlies and hasn't had to utilize their stars in a super heavy minutes mode a la the Knicks or even how other teams have done it and deployed their starter minutes throughout the season. But you wish that the team was at a point this time of year that the health is there, as was anticipated coming out of the All-Star break, and that we had a clearer idea of what that rotation looked like, and that those minutes were similar night to night. Your stars minutes are getting bigger. The rotation is shrinking. We're still not at that point. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We went 10 deep again last night, even with 2 players on the bench. Saw Marvin Bagley get some serious run for the first time. All that to say, there is a stretch of games ahead, and maybe they'll go into Dallas and have a get-right game. Everyone needs a get-right game in their life, right, Teresa? And right now, there's no better team to have a get-right game against than the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I say that, and then it's like, oh, nothing. You think you're rock bottom. Nothing would be further down the rock. We'd be Rock City forever in my mind in Chattanooga, all the way down under where that waterfall is inside the cave, Ruby Falls, if the Grizzlies lost to the Mavs. But likely, it's a chance to get some things figured out in an in-game lab where it's not as difficult of an opponent on the other side as you had in the Oklahoma City Thunder last night.
Exactly. This is a game where, the Mavericks seem to be suffering the plagues and locusts of 1,000 years for having traded away Luka. So if, this is one of those woulda, shoulda, coulda, I'll just say this. The key, the one lesson that Memphis Grizzlies fans need to hold on to that we learned with those two seeds, what matters most? Being available once the postseason starts, having your guys, and if you're healthy then, go win then. That is what this season will be. That's what any season is remembered for. You can enjoy the season as much as you want, and please do. But legacies are written in the postseason.
As for the Tennessee Titans, Teresa, you are always going to be a hot topic coming out of the combine when you hold on to the number 1 pick. As you mentioned, Abdul Carter is expected to have a workout with the Titans. Do you have any clearer idea on what the plan is for the number 1 pick today versus going into the NFL Combine last week?
No, that has not changed. What will change it is, free agency talking period starts Monday. And we will see what they do. They've got to get a veteran quarterback. Now, let's be honest. There's a huge difference between getting, say, a Sam Darnold versus a Gardner Minshew. So if they go out and get a Minshew-type quarterback, a guy who can be in the room, be a peer coach, peer quarterback coach, a guy that can go in there and play and win games if you need him, versus a Darnold who he's a guy who could push Will Levis and be starting in September perceptibly on your board. Massive gulf, huge gap there. So once we see what they do in free agency, then we'll have a better clue. But they're doing their due diligence, trying to meet with the top 4 candidates before talking season starts. And I give them all credit for that, because it's a different move to have some of your top 30 visits before you dive into free agency. Usually you do those in April after you've gotten through the 2 weeks to start free agency. So it is a little different. And I think it's because they're doing due diligence. They're going to be reportedly meeting with Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter. And, and still, there's this still little caveat back there. No matter what they do in the next couple of weeks, they still have to make every team in the top 10 who might be thinking quarterback that they are in love with the guy they want, to try and gin up some trade interest. Why? They have holes to fill, and the reason they're meeting with Hunter, Carter, all these guys is they could slide down to 3 or 4 or 5, 7, and as long as they get a good haul in return, take somebody. I mean, Ray Charles could throw a dart and fill a hole on this roster right now.
Teresa, could they also be trying to talk to these potential rookie draft picks to see if they might want to not just trade out of the pick and move back and get more picks, but maybe try and trade for one of these bigger name free agents that are out there? Not even bigger name free agents, people on rosters who you can get, right? Like Myles Garrett is saying, hey, come get me. And the Titans have a need at edge. DK Metcalf and the Seahawks, hey, come get me. I'm available. We know that the quarterbacks are available. Stafford, Rodgers, Darnold, if you like one of them. Could they be trying to do something like that, looking into some of those?
I say no, because remember, this is a team that is trying to pile up draft picks. And, the one thing they made clear, Chad Brinker, they spent a ton of money last year. They made some big moves, and it didn't pay off. So, they've got to, instead of sending away draft capital, they need to get it back. So if somebody wants to come get Harold Landry, he's reportedly been given permission to seek a trade. Please come take him off our hands. That's the message. Give us some draft picks. So, no, I just don't see this team being in a position to make a big swing at a DK Metcalf. Who's going to throw him the ball right now? You've got too many other questions to answer before you go doing that. That's a next year, you hope, move.
It's a next year plan. I will say, not related to the Titans, but my new hope and dream is that some way, somehow, Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf are reunited. I did not realize. Did you know DK Metcalf dates Normani?
No.
Me neither. And all of a sudden she's posting a picture of Russ, Sierra, and her and DK. And I'm like, why can't we have, how did we not focus more on this at the time? These are where my brain goes during free agency talks. I'm like, how can we get this power back together? But for the Titans, Teresa, ultimately, we don't have any clear idea of what's going to happen. The draft is still weeks away at this point. This is what we do each and every season. I am curious, were you able to go out and check out the new Nissan Stadium construction upgrades?
Yes. They gave us a tour Monday, which was, about just over a year, thanks to leap year last year, from the breaking ground. The amount of progress that they have made in 1 year is astounding. And this is a hybrid concrete steel construction. They are putting up the 300 level. We went up as high as the 200 level, and it's going to be a different configuration. The east end zone is going to be close to Interstate 24. The west end zone is going to overlook the Cumberland River. Currently, the current Nissan Stadium, and as soon as they get the new one done, target February 27th, still on schedule, they will take 6 weeks to strip that puppy of everything they can sell out of the building and take about 6 months to demolish it and bring it down, and you will have a sight line across the river to Lower Broad in the Honky Tonk District. There is a huge bank of windows, and guys, they're not going to have a Jerry World problem. They've got a plan for blackout curtains. Should they ever
No players will be blinded in Nashville.
No.
It's all fun and games until it's the home team. And then it's like, my eyes.
I lost the ball. So I did make sure to ask that very crucial question.
Thank you.
It is gorgeous. I mean, they're putting in pre-built, prefab concrete. And you know, the reason they're doing this, they've spent the last 10 years they built the current one on the cheap and got Bud and his team here. But this is going to be a gorgeous thing. One reason why the conspiracy theorist me thinks the reason they showed off the progress, we have NFL owner meetings at the end of March, and in May, another Super Bowl site will be announced. I still say I believe that Nashville will be hosting a Super Bowl in February of 2029. Stadium opens 27. Because of the SoFi issues, they want to make sure there's no construction delays, that the building gets open, and SummerSlam is due to be here in 27. They play 27, the 28 season, and that Super Bowl would be for the 28 season in 29 of February. So, you know, I'm putting money on it. I mean, somebody go to Vegas, put me $5 down on that.
There you go. Teresa, we'll catch up with you next week. We'll be leading into the SEC tournament. You will be as busy as always, but we'll see just who comes out. I know. Take it.
I'm tired now.
This is a deep breath Thursday. Do you want to take a deep breath? It's going to be okay. We'll see you next week. Consensual heart hands always. We'll take a quick break. Bye, Teresa. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to put the outfit on that I had on when I came in this morning that CJ got to see. I don't know why you didn't start with it. I was trying to be serious. Wow. I don't know, but I don't feel like being serious anymore. It's also a draft day. I promise. It's the goofiest thing I've ever walked into this building wearing. And I've had I had those pink boots. The fluffy ones that I bring out every snow season. Thank you. Everyone else in my life wants me to get rid of them. There's a hole in the sole now. I took them to a cobbler. They were like, what do you think?
I just want you to dress appropriately when it's cold outside. That's all I want.
Okay, Dad. Thanks. All right. It's a draft day. We are drafting greatest sports shows to ever exist.
Let's clarify, though.
Yes.
Sports talk shows.
Sports ancillary programming.
I don't know what ancillary means, and I didn't realize that until Jacob said it.
But it's like the programming around the live events.
Okay.
This is important for my list, so...
Okay. So nothing scripted. Nothing scripted. It's basically it.
I mean, first take scripted, but I don't think either of us are taking that. It's not scripted, but it is scripted.
It is.
You know?
It is.
It's like nothing narratively scripted. We're not talking Friday Night Lights.
Right.
We're not talking The League. We're not talking...
The League. I might go
loved
back and
The
rewatch
League.
The League.
What other great... We'll do that someday.
Oh, yeah, we should
Sports-related
do
television.
That. Yeah, actual sports TV shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take a break. Ted Lasso. Of course, Ted Lasso.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
mocking
CJ, and I think it's cool to be a Ted Lasso hater.
I don't think anything is cool about a CJ.
Blue Mountain State.
That's what makes CJ cool.
Loved Blue Mountain State.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if this is a spoiler. No WWE.
Okay.
Because those are live events.
Yeah.
Okay. We might have some arguments coming up, but we'll find out.
I promise if you start cheating on this,
I'm not cheating, but I have one pick that is very necessary that might be a little fringy. We'll draft when we come back.
Oh my gosh. Why you can't just stay inside the rules?
Bain, a pump fake, a three. It's through for Desmond Bain. FBK. Fly by King. Wheels through the lane, now spins back. Ja hangs, puts it in! Oh, what a shot by Morant in the clutch! So hot. Oh, Jerry said no! Because he doesn't put on a play, comes up with a monster block.
Number 9, man. I'm gonna be ready and hype. Let's just gonna be hype. My batter gonna be up right next to my brothers, Zevo, Big Spain. It's a great feeling, man. Never imagined this. I didn't think this would ever be a thing, and it's one of the biggest days of my life. I'm looking forward to it.
Anticipate each challenge. Make a quick response. Capitalize on every opportunity. And win. Greatness won't wait. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
We
Good luck
did get
today.
a new shoe that dropped today that we should all be able to get if we want it.
Fire.
And it's been one people have been waiting for a long, long time.
Yep.
Asia Wilson. What do you guys think about the shoe?
I love it.
It looks great. We see people wearing Jaws. We see a lot of people wearing the GT line, but then also we see a lot of NBA players wearing the Sabrinas.
Sabrina, yeah.
I bet you there's gonna be a lot of NBA players wearing that.
I agree with you on that.
Oh, yeah. The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app. What teams do you think, other than Chiefs and Eagles, you think are going to be teams to reckon with next season?
I think the Ravens, the 49ers, the Bills, the Lions.
I
they
think the
should have
Falcons
talent.
are going to be good next year.
Well, y'all have had like 4 straight losing record seasons. So.
Yeah, the question is, like, can you just get like 2 guys on defense? Like
Right.
they scored 38 against the friggin' Panthers and lost the last week of the season. Like, you got to get some stops.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
We got Southern Heritage Classic news. Mike, Tennessee State out. Where do you think the Classic goes from here? Is this a thing that sort of dooms this Classic, Southern Heritage Classic?
I don't ever bet against Fred Jones. I don't count Fred Jones out. You have to have the event. You have to continue to have the weekend, and a football game has to be part of it.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Where's the joy? What happened to the team I love?
To be darker, more brooding. Say it.
I'm not brooding.
Say
I'm not.
it. Say it.
Clobbering time. I'm more of a Inspector Gadget, Sherlock Holmes vibe.
And Sherlock Holmes is a brooder, isn't
As
he?
I smoke this fake pipe that we bought
For a
months
segment
ago.
a year ago.
So the reason this came out this morning is because every time I travel, I need to clean out my backpack, and this just sits in the bottom of my backpack, and I was like, I'm not gonna take this with me. And then I put on this coat, because it's a rental, of course. Trench coats are in. The trench is in. It's not my fault that I'm 5'3". I broke the pipe.
Did you break it?
I broke the pipe.
Jessica, that was expensive.
The bit is over.
It was like $1.50.
I bought.
I bet you can twist it back on there.
I bet I can too.
Yeah.
But I got this trench coat to wear on my trip to Denver because it's gonna be like 39 degrees.
Would you mind standing in
I
front
don't
so
know. I would
everybody
love
could
to.
get
I would
a
love
good glimpse of this? If I saw you in the airport, you asked, hey, if you saw me in the airport wearing this, would you think I was famous? And no, I would think you were a child in this getup that you have on. This, I don't understand why you would think that this is This can't be the look of the season. This is not the look of the season, Jessica. Like. That makes you look like you're 13. Honestly.
It's supposed to make me look like a grown-ass woman.
I would see you. I was like, oh, that's a child right there. And then I would say, excuse me, little girl, do you need help? And you would say, no, I'm fine. I'm like, well, wait a second. Why did this little girl have a grown woman voice?
Well, if you see me in the Memphis airport in like 6 hours, please just be like, is she famous?
No.
And not, does this 12-year-old need to find her parents? Are they going to ask me if I'm old enough to sit in the exit row?
Yes, they are.
That's tough.
Don't call anybody ma'am.
I've always wanted a trench.
Yeah, not
It's
that
been a
one,
dream.
Jessica. Jessica, your
I should have got a medium. I should have gotten a small.
your take about black shoes is ridiculous. All right, black tennis shoes, that thing you got going on, the beef you got with that is absurd. But you should absolutely have that type of beef with trench coats. You should absolutely say, all right, that's just something I can't
And
rock.
it's not fair because it's like a me problem.
Yes.
Other women wear trench coats and look mysterious and sexy,
Jessica,
and I look like
I don't know what to tell
a
you.
monster.
Some things are unflattering to some people, man. I'm sure there's things that I wear that is
Well, it's too late
unflattering.
because I gotta go straight to the airport. So this is all we got.
Hey, you rented it. You gotta wear it.
Exactly. That's my.
But just because you made this mistake one time, you don't
doesn't
gotta
mean
make
I
it
have to
again.
do it again. Well,
Yeah.
at least now I know this is why you rent. I'm not buying that shit.
Yeah, absolutely don't. Never rent a trench coat again. Unless we're doing a detective bit.
Oh, I'm absolutely gonna try a different one. Oh my gosh. See, I look okay in like a pea coat, but pea coats are out. Trench coats are in. All the girly influencers on TikTok are telling me.
Listen.
A nice little pair of jeans and a trench. Ooh. It takes 5 seconds to put that look together. Anyway.
It's a terrible look for you, Jessica.
Sandra, that would work better with curves. No.
You don't have any curves.
No, I think I have too many curves for the trench. I think you
Jessica.
have to be like a 5'7" and above. Yes.
No.
I think that's the key.
No.
I think you have to be a string bean for the trench.
So string being meaning taller.
Like tall and lanky.
Okay, you might need to be taller. You can be
might need
taller,
to be
taller and curvier.
I'll put some heels on.
Oh, Jessica, okay.
All right, we're drafting. I'm comfortable.
Always get
We're
comfortable
just
when the
trying
feet
to
go up.
survive this morning, okay?
Speak for yourself.
I
I'm
looked
thriving.
at
I'm having a great
my
day.
phone last night and it said it's 2 a.m. and I said, ah! Why can't I fall asleep? My brain just races on the games that I just watched, and then I can't fall asleep with it. But alas, it's a draft time. We are drafting. Do-do-do, do-do-do. The best sports shows ever in honor of Around the Horn going off the air. Around the Horn, a tremendous show that has been on ESPN for 20 plus years at this point. It was a special show. It gave a voice to so many different capital J journalists in the sports space who got to come on. Tony Reale is a fantastic host who led that charge for years and years and years. And if I was going and turning on ESPN in the afternoon, I don't stop for every show. I haven't stopped for every show for a long time. I would still check in on Around the Horn, and I would watch clips from Around the Horn. And even just giving space to women to have their opinions. Like Mina Kimes takes off on Around the Horn. Sarah Spain takes off on Around the Horn.
Jamel Hill.
Jamel Hill takes off on Around the Horn. And then Jamel Hill ends up doing this exercise. I forgot how much I loved His and Hers. I forgot how much I loved Numbers Never Lie for a period of time. There's so many fun ESPN shows through the eons, but Around the Horn was always one of my favorites. So in honor of them going off the air, it is a bummer that Around the Horn will be no more. They did 4,900 episodes over 23 years since its debut in November 2002. So 23 years since 2002. It goes off the air. And that makes me sad. But we're going to draft sports shows.
Let's get the duck race going. Oh my gosh. The
God,
only thing worse
I
than
can't
your trench
escape.
coat is that duck. the red duck, not the good duck, which is gonna come from behind and win, like always does. Never count that duck out. Never count that one out, man. Never,
I really wanted the number one
He
pick.
never loses against women. All right, I don't know why you wanted the number one pick, but I'm assuming it's because SportsCenter is sitting there, and I got to take SportsCenter. Like that's why all this exists. That's why. That's SportsCenter, man. That's the best of them. Used to wake up. You talk about all the people who've been on PTI. Not PTI, oops. Pretend I didn't say PTI. I'm tipping my hand a little bit.
I'm not taking it.
Not all the people that's been on around the horn. Think about all the greats that we've gotten from Dan Patrick, Stuart Scott, Rich Eisen. You got, why am I blanking on?
Kenny Mayne.
Mayne.
That was one of my favorites.
I'm
Linda
blanking.
Cohn, Chris Myers, Olbermann, Dan Patrick.
Said Dan Patrick.
Charlie Steiner and Robin Roberts.
Sage Steele. Don't make that face. Greats in the industry. I was thinking about Robin. That's who I was blanking on.
Like my two biggest inspirations in this industry are Robin Roberts and Stuart Scott.
Yeah.
Like I'm not doing Grizzlies highlights if I'm not listening to Booyah and Cooler Than the Other Side of the Pillow. Like that made highlights cool. That made highlights something I wanted to chase for my entire life. Like trying to figure out a niche in the industry. What I saw Stuart Scott do opened up everything for me and wanting to venture into sports media. To be yourself, to not be this like standard serious anchorman type who treat sports very seriously. Sports are fun. Like my list will be a testament to sports are fun, but SportsCenter, especially the OG SportsCenter.
That's what the good shows are. Like they're fun.
Yes.
Some of
a blend,
them,
fun, informative.
They absolutely want to blend the two. Some of them skewer more towards the informative side. Some of them skewer way to the fun side. I think SportsCenter balanced one of those that was straight down the middle.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, here's this highlight, here's the fun. The not top 10 was great when they came out with that. I loved that. The top 10, you definitely wanted to sit down there and see the top 10. It used to drive my mom crazy because my dad would watch it and it would be the same thing that he had just watched 2 hours ago. So she's frustrated. Why are you still watching it? Then I get of age and now I'm watching it and it's the same thing that I watched 2 hours ago. She was a woman in a house full of men who was just frustrated with SportsCenter, but we loved it. It's great.
You'd watch it before school. You'd watch it before bed.
Watch it before bed.
I miss having that kind of like regulated sports programming in my life. Okay, with my number one pick, I will take. This is tough. This is really tough. I'll take College Game Day.
Oh, no! No! Which College Game Day? The basketball one, right?
No, the football.
Oh, you suck.
I will take ESPN College Game Day, Kirk Herbstreit, Desmond Howard, Lee Corso, Reese Davis, everyone and everything that has contributed to that show along the way. Long live the Bear. Long live Old Crimson. The Old Crimson flying every Saturday morning represents my favorite time of the week. They are coming to your city, and it's a beautiful thing. I love College Game Day. It sets the tone perfectly. Others have tried to emulate that pre-game, pre-party vibe that they do so well. Their celebrity guest picker is a great way to always capitalize on the end, give your picks, have someone associated with the school, the stories they tell, the feature reporting that has happened from Maria Taylor to Sam Ponder to Jen. I can't think of her last name off the top of my head, but they've done great. God, my brain is not working this morning.
Yeah, well, join the club.
The guy who always makes you cry, who then went over to Fox.
Rinaldi?
Tom Rinaldi would always make me cry on a Saturday morning. I miss that being a part of it. But they've managed to keep it together. Even as changes have happened, it is still a relevant show. Obviously, Pat McAfee has injected a new energy, a new audience into the mix, having Nick Saban. They just keep like reinventing themselves. And that's the structure of a good show that remains relevant, is you have to reinvent yourself through the times. You have to add new pieces when other pieces fall back. And unpopular opinion, I love that Lee Corso is still on it. I love that he still gets to put a mascot head on. I love the relationship between him and Herb Street. And it just feels like a show that I've grown up with through my college football love, and it has helped make my love of college football greater. Some shows detract from the sport. College Game Day builds the lore so appropriately that you feel ready and situated to watch an all-day affair of college football. You know the storylines, you know who's expected to win, you're prepared if an upset pops off because you know how big it would be because of that show.
If College Game Day wanted to, they could go to the worst game every week and uplift that fan base or those fan bases, those conferences, and that game. That's how big College Game Day is in the storytelling component of sports. Like you said, they do a great job of it. Aaron Andrews, another one who does a great job of it. Lee Corso, at his prime, was one of the best personalities that sports had. And the way that he was able to play off of Herb Street was tremendous. And now you look at it the way Herbie can play off of Dez, can play off of Coach Saban, can play off of Pat McAfee. All of that is so impactful, so great, and something that, like you said, it adds to the sport in a way that I can't imagine college football existing without game day. And I'm heartless, I'm cold, I don't want to see the features anymore. But boy, when I sit down to watch them, the Michie feature, and he was a Michigan player, I think, or wanted to come to Michigan. I can't remember the exact story. It's been a while since I watched it because it had me a blubbering buffoon for 30 minutes, where he involved in the Michigan program and ends up bone cancer, recently passed away. The way they told that story gets me every time. The first time I found out that I will wave to the Children's Hospital
was on game day.
And was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Turn it off before too late. I'm already crying. The Florida State, I'm blanking on the Florida State football player who recently, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I can't remember, time is but a construct, who went to a school to eat lunch with the kids, saw one kid sitting by himself, was like, hey, I'm going to go sit with him. And the way that story sort of took off and ballooned on game day, great. They do great analytics. They're great at having fun, and they're great at giving you the human component of these college football teams, players, personnel, universities. So good. I hate that you took it, but it makes sense. I'm going to go PTI. Pardon the interruption. Mike Wilbon, Tony Kornheiser. Informative, and they play off of one another tremendously. When I think about a show that I would like to do someday, it would be that, where we're sitting there and just quick 30 minutes, let's knock out these topics. They don't need more than 30 minutes because they can be so concise and convey everything that they need about a topic in a 2.5, 3 minute span, while also being funny, and jabbing one another from time to time. It's great. This was my introduction to podcasts, right? I didn't have cable. And so I would have to listen to the PTI podcast, and then that spun off to me listening to the Kornheiser podcast as well. And it's like, oh, I kind of like this sports podcasting thing. And then one podcast leads to another. So yeah, give me PTI.
Okay. With my second pick, I will take Inside the NBA. Nobody does it like Chuck, Shaq, Kenny, and Ernie. You cannot buy chemistry, and they have bounds of it. It is so fun to watch Inside the NBA. People can think what they want about the unserious nature of some of those conversations, but the way that they have remained an engaging, funny, and consistent program, it will be sad. There is a reason they gave a whole damn funeral for it at All-Star Weekend, which I still question that decision because the show is technically moving just to a new network, even though they won't have Chuck to be a part of it. But it just shows how much that show means to the NBA community. And again, I can't imagine the NBA without Inside the NBA. Am I always learning something new there? No. That's a toss-up. But am I always entertained? Yes. I laugh more regularly watching that show than any other sports show.
All right, I'll take the Sports Reporters.
Okay.
That was one of my Sunday shows as a kid. Could sit down with Dick Schaap or John Saunders in the later iterations on Sunday mornings and be surrounded by 3 or 4 really great, intelligent columnists from around the nation. So I'm sitting in Clarksville, Tennessee. I'm sitting in Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know what Denver is thinking. I don't know what Boston is going on, what's going on up there in their sports and what they're thinking about these national stories. I don't know what Detroit, LA, et cetera, on Dallas, et cetera, on down the line. I got introduced to some really, really great sports writers and reporters, columnists on that show, and the way they conversed about those topics was in a very intelligent way, in a way that a kid like me, 10, 11, 12-year-old CJ, all the way on to teenage CJ, could digest it, could understand it, and then could formulate my opinions on the topic as well. I think that Dick Schaap is great. I love me some John Saunders as well. Give me sports reporters.
Okay, this is where it gets controversial.
Oh, here we go.
You might veto the pick. And I'm going to leave it open. If you veto the pick, you veto the pick. And it's okay. I know it's Women's History Month, and like technically, should you veto a women's pick in Women's History Month?
On a women's show during Women's History Month?
You can. I'm giving you permission.
I respect you too much as one of my she-ros. What you're doing is real she-roic.
It's also being very woman by being like, if you don't like it, it's okay. You can veto it. You don't have to do it. Red Zone with Scott Hansen? Question mark?
I am unfamiliar with Red Zone.
What did he say?
I don't know. It's live. He says it's live sports.
But it's the programming, or it's 7 hours of commercial-free football, effortlessly guided by Scott Hansen. It's the Scott Hansen piece that I am putting on my list.
Jacob, let's put it up there. They're going to clip this. I'll just let all the men yell at you in the chat, in the comments section.
Red Zone with Scott Hansen.
Women's History Month.
I love being yelled at by men in the comments. It's one of my favorite activities in this world. I think it counts. And no offense to Andrew Siciliano on DirecTV, but my version is Red Zone with Scott Hansen. It has now even had the spin-off of what they did with the Gold Zone. So you talk about a standard setter. There are levels to how we consume sports outside of the games themselves. And Red Zone took all-day football and condensed it to the most exciting moment. So technically, you could call Red Zone a highlight show. It is a constant highlight show.
A live highlight show?
It is a live highlight show.
Okay.
And the difficulty to host a show like that is high level. And Scott Hansen does a tremendous job. 7 hours of commercial-free football is a flawless saying that everybody joins in on. Anyone who is a Red Zone fanatic, there are people who tweet about Red Zone. There's communication between the host and the fans of Red Zone. I think it counts because what I think makes the best sports, and I guess this is a sports talk show, so that makes it a little, because it's not a talk show, but it is a different way to view sports than just watching a live game. You can get mad at me. I don't care.
Yes, you do.
I love Red Zone enough that I don't care about the comments. Come for me in the comments. Kill me in the comments. Make me cry.
Don't say that. We just had a conversation about you and death, man. Goodness. Number 4 for me, where am I at? I'm getting everybody I want to get. I'll go around the horn.
Go for it.
It's fun and informative. The point system is always funny to me. The fact that it's just whatever reality wants it to be is great to me. And it around the horn introduced me to my favorite sports personalities in this industry, be it Dan Le Batard, Bomani Jones, Michael Smith, Jamel Hill, Woody Page. I loved Woody Page. Loved me some Woody Page. Like all of that brought up Sarah Spain, Mina Kimes as well, J.A. Adonde, just people
Judy
who
McMillan.
Just people who I love to this day. Who, if I see them on the TV or I see they've got a podcast, I stop what I'm doing to give it a listen, a follow, and see if I like it or not. And I always end up liking it. Around the horn.
It's a good pick, considering it is what drove us to do this draft in the first place. And I think its final episode is May 23rd. So you still have a little bit of time left to enjoy Around the Horn. You don't have time left to enjoy one of my favorite sports shows of all time. And again, a show that without its existence, I am not quite sure what I'm doing with my life because it directly led me down this dumb little path of comedy and sports and what are we doing every day and putting on a trench coat. Give me Sports Nation, specifically The original cast of Colin Cowherd and Michelle Beadle. There was no more fun show on ESPN for a time period than Sports Nation, and getting to intern for Sports Nation was a dream come true.
Oh, I interned for Sports Nation. I'm cool.
I got to sit at the Sports Nation desk. It was a dream come true. I ran the prompter. I literally, my job was running the prompter, but also I got to pick cheers and jeers. And
Did you got to pick some cheers and jeers?
Yes,
Let's go.
Cheers. I got to take the. One
Why
of my jobs
are you even
was
here
watching
right now? Why didn't you just stay there?
Great question. They got me a nice cake on my lunch. They were so nice.
Get
there.
out of here. What was the cake flavor?
I think it was a mix. It was marble.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it was USC colors.
Nice.
I remember, and they gave me a bag of gummy bears because my lunch every day was popcorn and gummy bears because I'm a child in a trench coat. But how that separated the serious sports shows to, oh my God, this is all just for fun. There's so much stupidity involved in sports, and there is a way to effortlessly entertain people by just taking clips from moments that happen in sports, and they are inherently funny. And how are we going to package that and make people laugh while also keeping them up? Like, you would watch and you'd know the standings in various sports, you'd know the biggest storylines. My actual biggest job as an intern at Sports Nation was finding every piece of footage of Tim Tebow running shirtless in the rain. And then in slow motion. Just doing, that was a thing for a long period of time. And they were so fun. Beadle was incredible. She is one of my biggest inspos of getting in the industry. And her and Colin Cowherd's chemistry was so fun off the bat. Obviously, other iterations exist. I did not get to intern for Michelle Beadle and Colin Cowherd. But the show continued onward. I missed that show. I know they tried to, I think they even tried to do a Snapchat version of it at some point.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
But I miss Sports Nation. And when we were coming up with the idea, when Megan Triplett and I were coming up with the idea of this show, in the back of my head, I'm like, how do we get Sports Nation-ish with this? So you're welcome. That's why we're stuck in some of this. I don't know. We got rid of Double Tap a long time ago.
Yeah, we just stopped doing that.
There was no official conversation. It was just.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. We were like, we don't need it. We're out. We'll just pick the Double Tap stuff in.
I loved that show. I missed that show.
It's a good show. Wow. Grabbing a lot of stuff from one network. But for most of my life,
that was the worldwide leader.
That's how you become the worldwide leader. And I'm in a tough spot. I know I'm going serious here. Less fun, more on the serious side, because there are some great ones out there. I'll do it. It'll be straight ESPN. I hate that I'm not going to take real sports. I thought that maybe you take something and it would allow me to take real, or force me to take real sports with Brian Gumbel on HBO, because it's a tremendous show. But I'm going to go with Bob Lee and Outside the Lines. That is such a good, informative, serious show. Hey, here's this serious thing. It's serious. And we're going to sit down and tell you everything we need to know in this allotted time. We are going to do that. The way they covered the Larry Nassar stuff was huge. That was my go-to spot to learn the latest as it pertained to that trial. Hurricane Katrina, some of the stuff that they did with their coverage of Hurricane Katrina, and on the Saints playing in the Superdome for the first time. I thought that was great as well. They delved deep into the Pat Tillman stuff. And okay, here's what really happened to Pat Tillman. That was huge. Those are the ones that stood out to me. But there's been so many others. And the one that made its way from there, one of the many, made its way from there outside the lines to just random conversations I would have with people from a pop culture standpoint. I do believe they did I'm blanking on the autistic kid's name, but they did the one about the high school manager who was autistic, and they were like, okay, it's senior night, we're gonna stick him in the game, and my man just gets hot from three and drains all of these threes. And so there's a Boondocks episode about that. And every time every time I hop on social media, there's some sort of a clip like that circulating where, here's our equipment manager who has this disability, who's out there. And look at how much fun they're having. Look how cool it is to see that story sticks with me to this day. Another one of those tearjerker type moments to see that kid go out there and hit all of the threes that he was hitting in that one game, to see him running up and down the up and down the court so happy and see the teammates and the fans around him celebrating with him as well. Outside the Lines has done some great in-depth journalism on various sports stories, so I'll take that with my last pick.
It's a good pick. I was going to do E60, but I'm not going to do 2 Bob Lees. I could go Goofy, and I could do Highly Questionable, which is my other favorite ESPN program, and then it leads to Dan Le Batard is one of my favorite people.
As much as I like Dan Le Batard, didn't care for Highly Questionable that much.
I just like him. That's why I don't think that's why I'm not going to take it. But that like started my gateway into being as obsessed with Dan Le Batard as I can. Like I still listen to the Dan Le Batard show.
I do also because it's a good show. But also introduced Pablo Torres. That's how I learned about him. Mina Kimes, also from Dan Le Batard and around the horn. Bomani Jones will hop on there and they would goof around from time to time. It's a good show. Sarah Spain. Yeah, it's a good.
I will take Real Sports. I'll take Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. One of the best news programs in regards to sport and diving into stories that I never would have even thought to investigate. We did not take 30 for 30. I did not put 30 for 30 in this category. For me, 30 for 30 is in the documentary category. It is not in this sports space. I guess because it's highly produced. Maybe that's the difference.
Which one?
30 for 30.
Okay.
That, like a 30-minute documentary, like a E60, where it's multiple stories, and like a Real Sports, where you can have multiple stories in one episode, but it's not. It's not a documentary. That's different.
Those feel like Sports 60 Minutes. What you're talking about is an actual documentary.
Yes.
That's different.
Yes.
One is a movie, one is a TV show. Those are different.
One is a news program, and one is a movie. Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to put it. But Bryant Gumbel just brought such a gravitas to the sports world and touched a lot of subjects that other people would not get into. Obviously, it wasn't just an American show, it was worldwide. And I think that's so important from a broadening your horizons of the sports community, not just immediately around you, but how this is impacting the entire world and how good, bad, ugly, everything in between. But it was a great show, and I miss it. That's one that I miss. Like, when you think about great things from HBO that we have lost, that is up there. And we didn't have anything to replace it with.
And there's a hole, there's a void in both
outside the lines,
Real Sports and sports reporters. So much of the discourse around sports right now is, hey, let's just stick 2 or 3 people on set and let them argue about things that don't really matter.
Yeah.
Or let's stick a bunch of people on set. Let's just be goofy and have fun. We are void of those just straight, hey, here's the education of what's going on, so you can be as informed as possible. And that has a lot to do with TV ratings and numbers and things like that. But yeah, I wouldn't mind if something like either one of those, Real Sports, Outside the Lines, or Sports Reporters came back. What was on your
my short list?
Yes.
On my short list was SVP and Russillo. If we were talking about specific people, the Dan Patrick Show was one of my favorites going through it. Good Morning Football.
Okay.
I hate that Good Morning Football changed its time slot. That used to be my morning show to just have on in the background while getting ready for this show. Yeah. And now it is not. His and Hers, PTI, which you took. NFL Football Night in America. I do like Chris Berman's Fastest Minute still. I like everything that comes. It's a nice recap moving into a Sunday night game. And there's like a importance that feels that NBC still holds on that space. So I appreciate those. And yeah, that's my list. What else was on yours?
Cold pizza.
Oh, I forgot about cold pizza.
Yeah, we like this cold pizza thing is kind of weird.
Yes.
But it was good. And from that we end up doing the Woody Skip. And then from that is like, oh, we got something with Skip here. Let's just have him start arguing. You partner him with Stephen A. Smith, and now you've got First Take. Mike and Mike was that show for me as a kid in the morning. My sister hates Mike and Mike to this day because she had to watch it when she was getting to school early in the cafeteria. They'd have TV on and be on Mike and Mike. But I loved it. Changed the way we view radio hosts and the way we think radio could be done and should be done nationally. Rome is Burning Jim Rome.
Jim
Rome was one of those dudes for me, and you took Sports Nation, but Sports Nation was up there.
I also like Bob Costas at the Olympics, but I didn't know how to categorize that. And there's another host that felt important. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Anyway, thanks for joining us for our fun-filled draft. We got to take one quick break. We'll come back. We'll do some Theater Thursday movie news. I'll tell you how a Cheeto somehow fits into that. What other movie news do we have? I'll read the rundown during the break and we'll get into it. It's a Thursday. We'll make it through. Maybe I'll have a trench coat on. Maybe I won't. We'll be right back.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
They say main event Jey Uso was going to open the show. So they said they're starting to hear rumbles around the plaza level of Jey Uso. They're getting the crowd together to build up the main event Jey Uso entrance. Hey, 15,000 people together yeeting in unison, 5-star. They are yeeting together.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
We touched on this earlier, the panel here, about what really has been the mainstay of the Grizzlies, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. Trip has just been awesome.
He's posting guys up. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's physical, and he's scoring all type of ways.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back. I forgot the Razzie Awards. We talked so much about the Oscars, we forgot about the second most award importance in the movie world every year, the Razzies. And CJ, were you surprised? I did not see this year's winner of Worst Picture, but you did. Madam Web.
I didn't know if I knew anything about anybody in the Razzies. But then when they started announcing who was winning, whatever they were winning, it was like, oh my gosh, I've seen these movies, and yes, they are awful. They are terrible. Hell yeah. I'd pit Madam Web up against any other Razzie winner, any other one, as the worst movie made since the Razzies have gotten started.
Should we draft Razzie winners next week?
Do you want to?
Yes.
We probably could have this week.
I know, whatever. We'll push it to next week. All right. Worst actor, Jerry Seinfeld, Unfrosted, Unfamiliar.
You didn't watch Unfrosted?
I did not watch it.
You're the reason I watched Unfrosted.
I know. I remember when the preview came out.
You're like, yeah, I'm gonna watch Unfrosted.
No,
You
it
should
was
watch
supposed to be so
Unfrosted.
bad. Like the only reason I was going to watch Unfrosted is because people were saying it was like the worst Christmas
It's just-
movie ever made.
I forget which director it was. One of these directors,
Francis
maybe
Ford Coppola from
had-
Megalopolis.
Yes,
he's
had-
really upset about winning
had
a Razzie.
had a speech, not a speech, but accepted the award on social and had a comment about, hey, basically, because we're afraid to do something weird and to fail while trying to do something weird, we lose uniqueness that comes with storytelling in movies. And I kind of agree with that.
appreciate that.
I understand exactly what he's saying, and I feel like Unfrosted falls into that category.
Does it?
Whereas, yeah, no, it's just it is an odd way to go about trying to tell a story, and sometimes when you do that, it hits. Sometimes it doesn't. It is a bad movie, but unlike Madam Web,
Oh, it's not a Christmas movie. I totally had that mixed in my brain.
the Pop-Tarts movie.
It's the Pop-Tarts movie.
You did watch that, didn't you?
No, I never. I
Okay.
watched clips from it on TikTok, which does not count.
Unlike Madam Web, which is just atrocious in every way imaginable.
Yeah.
Unfrosted, I can appreciate what they were trying to do. It just didn't land. It just didn't hit.
I got you.
So they did all of that gymnast metaphor. They did all of the flips, and it just didn't stick the landing.
face-plant it
and
a
just
little bit.
face plant it. It's like, okay, I see what you were trying to do
I
there.
got you.
Whereas Madam Web, they just tripped over themselves in every way imaginable.
Okay.
What is Megalopolis? Did you watch that one?
No, I never ended
Okay.
up watching it. It was highly anticipated, and then it just apparently was a mess. A big creative risk. Some people loved it, but a lot of people hated it.
A
and
worst
it gets some
screen
Razzies.
combo. Again, I understand what they were trying to do with Jokey Folie Dieu. I get what they were trying to
I like how
do.
you called it jokey. That feels appropriate.
Joker, excuse me, Folie Dieu. I understand
Dieu.
I understand what they were trying to do. It's weird.
ahead.
It's unique. It just didn't hit with most people. I enjoyed
Yeah.
Joker Folie Dieu, but
Yes.
everybody else didn't. But again, those are different than what Madam Web is. Madam Web is atrocious. Like, it is so bad. If I never saw anybody who had anything to do with Madam Web on screen ever again, I'd be fine with that. And I could justify it by saying Madam Web was bad.
Dakota Johnson is a good actress. That's why that's crazy. She's
Is
not
she?
a great actress.
'Cause
She's an okay.
what
I really liked her in Cha Cha Real Smooth.
okay.
I really liked her in The Lost Daughter. Nobody
people-
liked her in Madam Web.
Nobody liked her in 50 Shades
50
of Grey?
Shades.
Okay.
I think some people liked her in 50.
All right.
She's also in, what's that Shia LaBeouf movie?
Even Stevens
No, I
reunion?
just recommended it. Even Stevens Goes to Hawaii. Wasn't the plot that they were on like a game show? Not this movie. I'm talking about the Even Stevens movie.
Yeah. That's how you end up over
Peanut
there.
Butter Falcon.
Okay.
Peanut Butter Falcon. So she has good credits. She has potential to one day go from, because my favorite award of the year is the Razzie Redeemer Award, which is where they go back and give a past Razzie winner the ultimate appreciation of you have outgrown your Razzie award and you are a well-respected actor or actress now. And Pamela Anderson won it this year. And the only reason to see The Last Showgirl is Pamela Anderson. Like, it could have been so much more, but she's great in it. And I love that she got to have this resurgence of being taken seriously and everything that she's gone through. But when you look at past Razzie Redeemers, Ben Affleck, who went from winning for Geely,
A terrible movie.
Sylvester Stallone, all-time Razzie champ, Mel Gibson, he can stay there, Melissa McCarthy, multi-Razzie darling, Eddie Murphy.
For what? Do you know?
He was proclaimed worst actor of the decade at the 30th Golden Raspberry Awards.
Which decade? Eddie Murphy
in
has
2010.
Really? They didn't like. They didn't like.
He
Nutty
beat out.
Professor
You want to
3?
know who he beat out?
Yes, please.
10-time Razzie nominee Jennifer Lopez. 6-time
Nominee.
Razzie nominee Keanu Reeves. 9-time Razzie winner Adam Sandler. And 4-time Razzie winner Will Smith.
Will Smith won 4 Razzies.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I guess
That's
Men in
wild.
Black 2 and Men in Black 3, they didn't
Probably
really appreciate.
Tanked the overall stock at that point. Anyway, shout out to the Razzies.
Yeah, man. Don't
All
watch
right.
any of those movies. Watch. I take that back. You can watch Unfrosted.
God, John Voight had a hell of a year.
Yeah, you can watch. He won for all of those movies. Watch Unfrosted.
I will never forget where I was the first time I saw that Reagan trailer in a theater. And shout out to the theater I was in understood the assignment, because you talk about the collective groan. We were out at Ridgeway, like middle of the afternoon, me and all my favorite old people watching a movie together, and just, and I was like, oh, tell me how you really feel about this movie at this moment.
Don't watch Madam Web. Unfrosted is weird.
I feel like I have to watch Madam Web
No.
now. It's become a cult classic.
It's not a classic. It's not a classic, and it's not a cult. We all agree that it's awful. Like, it is terrible. Do not watch Madam Web. I'm trying to save you from yourself. There should be a U.S. Surgeon General warning before you sit down and watch that movie.
What's the line that everyone says about the mom in the Amazon researching the spiders?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I want to know. I want to know the line.
I tried to put it all out of my mind,
All
Jessica.
right. Last but not least, I have a meeting to get to.
Do you have a
And
PIP?
the meeting is a trench coat trip to the airport.
You look like two kids stacked on top of one another trying to
Somebody
sneak
in the
into
chat
the
said
theater.
you look like I'm trying to get into an R-rated
Yeah.
movie, and it's very factual. A Cheeto sold at an auction for $87,840. Why? Because it looks like Charizard. They're calling it Cheetozard. And after we just had a Pokemon conversation about the evolution of Charizard, Charmander, Charmeleon, hell yeah. Now we have Cheetozard.
I feel like this is old.
It's brand spanking new.
Okay.
Just happened. It's a 3-inch flaming hot Cheeto shaped like Charizard. Sold at an
inches.
auction March 2nd. Bidding started at $250 and it got all the way up to $87,000. Imagine having enough money in these trying times, in this economy, to spend $87,000 on a Cheeto.
I mean, you could either spend $87,000 on a cool looking Cheeto, or you're gonna spend $87,000 on 2 dozen eggs. Which one are you gonna do?
Or $87,000 on Mavs tickets.
Oh gosh.
No, too soon. All right, everybody. I will not be here tomorrow.
There's no
CJ's
reason for
going to
that.
be here with somebody. You'll see who it is tomorrow morning. It'll be a Grizzlies game day. I will be back on Monday. Hopefully, fingers crossed, got our first Grizzlies highlights in what feels like weeks. Grizzlies play Sunday against the Pelicans, so we'll have 2 games before then. Friday, Sunday. We'll see what's up. Everybody have a great rest of your Thursday. The sun is shining. Bye.
It feels like weeks because it has been weeks.
No, it hasn't. That
When was the
Suns
last
game was like
one?
a week and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah,